I also recommend saving one of these squares as a guide so you can match your black fondant to the same thickness. Don't really want to misshape that, or I'll make it hard to pop the next square. So you can see we've got our basic tile pattern, and now we're just going to fill in the voids with black fondant. So remember I said keep one of the squares as a guide, so you know basically how thick to roll out your black fondant. So I'm going to keep this one. The rest are no good. If you're a stickler for perfection, by all means, tile individual tiles. But I find that this is just, I don't know if it's easier, but it's my preferred method. So we're going to warm up our black fondant. Try not to go like overboard with the cornstarch. You don't really want any of it on the top. Okay, now we're going to begin to cut out squares. Try to utilize as much fondant as you can, because you'd hate to have to re-roll another piece just for like 1 or 2 squares. Okay, I think that's all I can get. Hopefully that's enough. I got some water. I'm just going to brush a little water into that space. And then, oops, just push that away. I want to see if I'm happy with the height match. Maybe something a little bit thicker. There we go, perfect. This is going to need to be glued. There's our first square. Now we're just going to keep repeating that process. Yeah, baby, I'm going to make it. That makes me so happy. I hate having to roll out more fondant for like 2 or 3 squares. Like that's just, oof, pet peeve. Now that we have all our tiles in place, we're going to go around the edge and trim off the excess. As you trim, you want to hold your squares in place, or they may start to move around on you. Just go slowly, kind of sawing motion. You'll get a nice clean cut. You can even trim any white that needs it. Okay, there we go. That's our board. You can go around the edges and kind of smooth and round them down if you'd like. Well, that's it. That's our finished diner tiled floor cake board. Woohoo! Pop that aside and we'll begin to carve our cake. Okay, our cake is nice and cold and we're ready to carve it. But first I'm going to show you how to make our template. So what I did to create my template, I have a 8-inch oval dummy and I just traced it onto parchment paper and then cut it out. And that, you could see why I could recommend you baking this in an 8-inch tin, because you can see I've got a lot of waste on either side. So we're ready to carve. So I'm just going to go around and just take off chunks. I'm not one of those all-in-one kind of cut kind of person, so we're just going to take off chunks. I'm just going to make sure that my template stays on. You can hold on to all of these offcuts and make cake pops. Or even I could recommend, say, for the scoops of ice cream, we're going to be using Rice Krispie treats to create them, but say you like to make sure that you don't waste anything, and you can probably use these offcuts and create like a cake pop substance out of it and use that to make the ice cream scoops from.